Welcome back to my knitwear channel. In this video I will share with you a process of making one of my designs. It's slightly oversized sweater with cable sleeves, v-neck and a split hem. Lots of fun details to work on. The sweater is designed for 8 sizes and the pattern is available for the instant download following the link in the description box below. Get your yarn and let's begin. We are going to start our sweater by knitting 2 panels in 2x2 ribbon, one for back and one for front to create a side split. Let me show you in details how I'm making this I-cord edge that works really well for the split edges. On the right side, slip 1 with yarn in the back, then slip 1 with yarn in front and knit 1, and then continue ribbon pattern until the last 3 stitches. Knit 1, slip 1 with yarn in front, just like that, and purl the last stitch. This is how your I-cord looks like. Let's move to the opposite side. Slip 1 with yarn in back, then knit 1 and slip 1 with yarn in front, and then you will continue working in the pattern. So the last 3 stitches we're gonna slip 1 with yarn in front, knit the next stitch and purl the last stitch. Continue working in pattern until the piece measures the desired height of the hem. We will make 2 identical pieces. Join around. Purl across all stitches of piece number 1 up to the last stitch. Leave the last stitch unworked for now and grab the second piece. Make sure that both right sides are facing you. And here we will cross the last stitch and the first stitch of each piece. That will help us to close this gap. And you will continue working in purl stitches. Here you can see how the crossed stitches closed the gap. Continue working in purl stitches until the end of the row and join the opposite sides the same way. Cross the last stitch on right needle and first stitch on left needle to close the gap. We are done with the hem, and now we will join a different yarn and start working on the body of the sweater in stockinette stitch in the round. Continue working in stockinette stitch, meaning you knit every stitch in the round until sweater measures approximately 37 centimeters. And on the next round we are going to start shaping a v-neck. According to the pattern, for my size I worked 46 stitches, and now I will bind off 2 stitches in the middle of the front part of the sweater. Recommend referring to the written pattern where you can find the exact numbers for your size. And now we will just continue working in the round, knitting every single stitch until the opposite end of the v-neck split. Next step is to turn the work to the wrong side. Knit the first stitch and purl across the rest of the stitches up to the last stitch, which we will also knit. Basically, we will always knit the stitches that are right on the v-neck edge. Now we will turn the work back to the right side and just knit across all the stitches. This is how your work looks like at this point. Next step, divide back and front stitches. We will slip all the front stitches to a spare needle and put them aside for now. Here we have all the back stitches on the working needle and front stitches on the spare needle. We will work on back stitches only for now. We are using a simple stockinette stitch, and we are going to work until armhole measures approximately 17 centimeters. Please note this number will differ depending on your size, so make sure to refer to the pattern. You can also see that I need the first and last stitch on each row. You can do the same, as it will make the process of picking up stitches for the sleeve later easier. Once the desired length of the armhole is reached, we are going to shape neckline and shoulders. So I'm going to need 34 stitches for the first shoulder and then bind off stitches for the neckline. Make sure to check the pattern for the numbers for your size. This is how the neckline looks like at this point. And now I'm just going to work on those live stitches that are left for the shoulder. I moved the live stitches to the spare needle, and for now we are done with the back. We are returning to the front part, and I'm going to show you how I prefer working on both sides of the front using 2 balls of yarn. I will join ball number 1 to the armhole edge with the right side facing me, and knit to the last 3 stitches right before the V-neck split. Then I will knit 2 next stitches together and knit the last one. So basically we started shaping, we continue on shaping the V-neck. So ball number 1 is put aside, and I'm joining the ball number 2 to the V-neck edge with the right side facing me. We will mirror the decrease on this side by knitting the first stitch and then slip, slip, knit the next 2 stitches. And we are going to work in knit stitches until the end of the row. I like working on both sides of the V-neck simultaneously this way. Now, making sure not to twist the threads from the yarn balls, flip the work to the wrong side and purl across all the stitches. You will notice that I need the armhole edge stitch on each side, as it will facilitate picking up sleeve stitches later. And make sure to work each side of the V-neck using a separate yarn ball. And now flip work back to the right side again. Do not twist the threads, and just knit across all the stitches without any decreases. And now repeat the purl side row as demonstrated earlier. You will continue shaping the V-neck as indicated in the pattern for your size, working as established up to the same armhole edge length as the back part. Make sure that you have the same number of shoulder stitches left as you have on the back side. We are going to join shoulders using a 3-needle bind-off. So traditionally this bind-off is done with the wrong sides of the fabric facing you, so you hide the seam. But in this design I wanted to add some texture and color contrast, so we are joining the shoulders on the right side of the fabric. Using the contrasting yarn, insert the needle into 2 shoulder stitches, 1 on each needle, and knit those 2 stitches together. Repeat 1 more time, and then pass the second stitch over the first stitch on the needle, creating a seam. And continue in this manner until all stitches are bound off. And here is this texture and color contrast that I wanted to achieve. We will repeat the same process on the opposite shoulder. Just make sure to start from V-neck edge towards armhole edge on this side. And here we go, both of the shoulders are joined. Let's just look at the progress so far. This is how your sweater looks like at this point. And now we are going to move to sleeves. So before picking up stitches for the sleeves, I recommend you referring to the tutorial I have on my channel, where I show you this method in a very detailed manner. I use it for picking up both neckline and sleeve stitches. Check it out. So using this tutorial, create a crochet chain around the armhole edge to prepare it for picking up the stitches. It will create a really nice even line. I always say that this step is so worth it. Make sure that the number of crochet chain stitches is equal to the number of sleeve stitches you need to pick up for your size. Now you can see the line created, and we are going to insert the working needle into the middle of each crochet chain and pick up the stitches. Here is the chain stitch, so insert the needle inside of it, just like that, and get the yarn through. And continue in this manner until you pick up all these stitches. Okay, all the stitches are picked up, and now you're ready to work on your sleeve. I'm using the magic loop method, and I'm just going to knit all the stitches in the round. The shaping is minimum, but please refer to the pattern to check the instructions for your size. And I will continue working in stockinette stitch until the sleeve measures approximately 21 centimeters. Here is the second sleeve that is already done, so you can see how it looks like when we complete the work. And you can see the stockinette stitch part that is right before the cable cuff. We are done with the stockinette stitch part of the sleeve, and now to my favorite part, cables, cables, cables. My favorite knitting technique for sure. Let's switch to the contrasting yarn, and we will use cable charts for 2 different kinds of cables. You can find both written and graphic instructions for these cables in the PDF of the pattern. Let's start by setting up the stitches for the cables. For all sizes, we are going to use 2 kinds of cables. The first one is made of 9 stitches and the second one of 10 stitches. And there are 2 purl stitches between them. The number of cables and filler, so-called filler stitches, will depend on your size. please check the written pattern. In my case, it is 7 filler stitches and 5 cables. Here's how my sleeve cuff looks like. According to the chart, the first cable does not have any crossing of the stitches, so we'll just work all the stitches as they appear. Second cable, the one that is made of 10 stitches, has 2 right crosses made of 4 stitches each. So we are going to slip 2 stitches to the cable needle and hold them to back, then knit 2 stitches, and then knit 2 stitches from the cable needle. Knit 2 and repeat the right cross. Here you can see that I'm not using a cable needle anymore. For me it is just easier this way, but you can keep using a cable needle if you prefer. And here are our first 2 right crosses on the second cable. We will continue as established until the end of the round. Round 3, just work all the stitches as they appear, no crossing of stitches. Round 4, first crossing on cable 1. Let's work filler purl stitches, in my case it's 3 of them. Then following the chart, knit 3 and cross 6 stitches to the right. Slip 3 stitches to cable needle, just like that. Hold them to the back, knit 3 and knit 3 from cable needle. Purl 2, and on the second cable we are doing 1 4-stitch cross as follows. Let's knit 4 stitches, then slip 2 stitches to cable needle and hold it to back, then knit 2 and knit 2 from the cable needle if you're using one. I don't use any cable needle, as you see. And then let's knit 2 more stitches and we are done with this cable cross. As you can see, both of the cables are starting to shape up. Continue working in this round as established. Round 5, just work all the stitches as they appear, no crossing of stitches. On round 6, we are repeating the right 6 stitches cross on cable 1. We are going to slip 3 stitches to the candle needle or just to the right needle and hold them to back. Then let's knit 3 stitches and then knit 3 stitches that were left in the back. Just like that. And knit 3 remaining stitches. This is how your cable looks like at this point. On the second cable, we are doing the 4-stitch right cross again. Knit 2. Then slip 2 stitches to the cable needle or just slip it to the right needle, hold to back, then knit 2 and then knit 2 stitches from the cable needle, just like that. So we did another right cross and then knit 4 stitches. We'll continue in the round as established. Now you can see how the cables are shaping into the braids with amazing stitch definition. Round 7. Here we are going to just work all the stitches as they appear, no crossing of stitches. So this video should give you a pretty clear idea how to work those two cables. For the step-by-step graphic and written instructions, please refer to the PDF of the pattern. You can easily download it following the link in the description under this video. You will continue working in pattern as established until the sleeve cuff measures approximately 14-15 centimeters or until the desired length. I'm done with my sleeve, and now I'm going to bind off all the stitches using an I-cord method. We will start by casting on 2 extra stitches onto left needle, just like that. Here they are. Now let's begin. Knit 2, then slip, slip and knit those 2 slip stitches together. Then move those 3 stitches worked from right needle back to left needle. And you will repeat these steps until you have 3 stitches remaining, binding off all the stitches this way. When we have 3 stitches left on your needles, we need to join those stitches to the beginning of an I-cord. I use a crochet hook to create chain stitches to make this join as invisible as possible. Here is the result. It looks pretty neat. We are done with the sleeves. I love how they add a texture element to the whole design. At the very last minute, I decided to add some fun element into my design and added a good old elbow patch. I used a simple lace pattern. You can find it in the PDF of the pattern, or just use your own stitch. And then I just sew it to the sleeve. This is how it looks like on the back side, on the front side. I placed it right in the middle between the armhole edge and the cable cuff. And we are done with our sweater. I hope to see many versions of it. Make sure to tag me on Instagram so I can see your project.